Okay, let me see how many participants we have. 24. I will just wait another minute, then I will start with the live exercise.
Sorry, in the meantime, may I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
It's about the branch creation. So it seemed to me that when you are creating a new branch and modifying the code, what happens if you, for example, create two branches that have conflicting changes and then you merge them all together?
If you have multiple branches, they will have, for example, they modify the same file and you have conflicts. You will
Yeah.
have a merge conflict. It's not a normal merge, for example. Yeah, I mean, it's similar to a can be made in a fast forward fashion or in a merge commit fashion. The point is that Git will stops you and will create this. We'll see it in the live exercise. Will add to your files these, let's say, lines to let you to show you where the conflicts are. At that point,
Okay.
it is waiting for you to go inside the files, modify them to resolve these conflicts. When you're happy with what you have done on this, let's say, conflicts addition, you can just again add those files and commit the merge conflicts. We will see it in a little bit with the live exercise session, however. I hope it will
Okay.
be more clear.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope you see my terminal.
And in addition, there is another, may I just add one more thing?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So there is a command called git reset -- hard, and you can put the branch name. That will be what will it reset everything. So it will avoid any conflict if given. That's all I want to say.
Yes, pay attention, always pay attention using reset because can delete the stuff that you don't want to delete, but still, that's an option.
That's, I mean, then an option, because if there is a conflicting one and you want to target one particular one, then it is possible. Then it's okay. Yeah, but as you said, it's a bit dangerous, huh?
Sorry, Nitin, do you see my terminal?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so let's start. If you can check the this exercise just by going inside my Git introduction repository and clicking on live exercise, a markdown file with a sort of script for the exercise you want to check it, or try it on your own if you want to exercise on Git. I will just follow it. Okay, so let's create a new repository. Let's call it my new repo. Inside of it, I will do git init. And I will use, and I have a new repository. I want just to show you that I have a custom prompt. In the slides, after the final slide, we have extra slides also to understand how to manage these small details, let's say, if you're curious about it. If I use git status, I will see that there's nothing. I can add, for example, a file. In this moment, that file will be untracked. And Git will always give you a lot of hints on how to manage this kind of situation. Just git add the first file. It's easy. And with the git status, we will see that the file is, at this point, ready to be committed, is in the staged area. If you want, you can always remove this file from the stage area. But we're going to commit it. And the text of our commit will be my first commit, for example. So we are good to go. On branch master, nothing to commit. So let's create a new repository online. I'm just going to show you how to create it. It's quite easy. From repositories, you can just click on new and just show the name, check the name. I will just use the same name for my folder. In this way, I won't mess up anything. There's of course a lot of option. Here I will leave it public and make it easy. Once you've created a repository, here there's all the needed command that you need to run to, of course, set it. Here I'm gonna copy the SSH protocol link. Here there's also the HTTP if you prefer. And so I will just use git remote add origin. And therefore, if I'm going to use this command, git remote -v, I will just see the link that I've just put, the connection between the remote repository that I've chosen for my local repository. Okay. Let me take the live exercise just to see the flow that I want to, let's say, follow with you. In this case, we want now to push our remote branch. So let's use git log to see that we have these commits. This is just the local commits. If you want, you can use git log -graph -o. If you want to see a more, let's say, understandable history, for this case, doesn't really matter, but in the future will be very important to understand the history of our commits. And in the future, we use this command that is an alias for just this long list of options for git log. Okay. So let's push our current branch on the remote repository, therefore using the upstream option, origin master. If you use git log again, we see that at this point in these commits, we do not have anymore just our local commits, but also the remote one. Okay. If you want, for example, now one could say, okay, and if I already have my repository, for example, you could clone it and therefore use git clone, the same exact link that we see before. And it already works. Okay, so let's go back in the repository that I already forget the name, my new repo. Okay. Let's see how to manage files. Let's add a line to my first file. For example, I am the first file. So first file now will contain this line. And if I use the git status, I will see that first file has been modified. So you can add it. You can add, for example, using -a. Here is not needed, but it's just to show you that it's a possible option. And then you can commit. Let's try to commit without the -m option. -m is just to write your commit here. If you do not use it, the core editor will be open, in my case, Vim, and you'll be able to write, for example, my second commit. Save and exit, commit done. At this point, I can push on the remote repository this change. If I use git log, I will see my history with my first commit and my second commit with the file, first file. Let's see now with multiple files and directory. For example, I can create the directory dir and create file within it. For example, file 1 and file 2. Its status will tell me that everything inside the dir directory is missing. So I can also, for example, add another line to our file, second line to be, I don't have much fantasy, I have to say. So my git status will tell me that I have a modified file and untracked file. If I use in this case git diff, it will show me the difference of the modifications. Therefore, for first file, it will show me that this line has been added to my file. I can add everything and commit everything. A shorthand, for example, to add everything right away, the directory and the modification, is again using git -a. Or if I would like to just add the modification without the addition of untracked file, I can use the update option -u. That will just git add, of course, -u. It will just add modified files. With -a, I add everything. Of course, you won't do it for directories. For directories, it's important to also specify the new path, since it's really a new path. Ah, no, sorry, I just forget the addition. It should work. Okay, work. Sorry for the typo, let's say. I can commit new dir and new line, let's say, and push. Let's see how to use the git ignore. Let's create a folder, dir to ignore, let's say, and let's touch a file inside of it. Useless file. At this point, it tells you to add that file that is untracked. If you don't want to always have this line here and it bothers you about these files that you don't want in your repository, you can create a git ignore file. Okay. And I will put here dir to ignore. The status is still not clear. Why? Because git ignore has been added to your repository, of course, but you won't have any more dir to ignore. Some people prefer to not have git ignore on the remote repository. Others prefer it. In my opinion, is very useful. So I always add it. So I will add the git ignore file and commit it in our repository. Let's see our history. We are 4 commits and we are up to date with the remote repository, since we are always pushing our changes, let's say. Let's try now to use our move and remove options. Let's, for example, change our first file. Let's use git move first file and let's call it just file, because first file is too long. And let's remove a file from there, file 2, for example. I remove it without cached options. Therefore, file 2 will miss also from the directory, as you're seeing here. Our git status will already have these two, the renamed option, the remain, let's say, operation and delete operation, already in the staged area. Therefore, I can just commit. Okay. And push. Clear. Let's see now how to, let's say, undo stuff in Git quickly. Let's add, for example, a third line to our first file that is now file. So echo third line, file. Now file is like this. Let's add it. I will show you a shorthand to add and commit together. Ah, no, here I wanted to show you another thing, right? From this stage, if I do not want, for example, the third line, I can always use git restore. Git restore file. I wanted you to notice that the Git always hints you about this stuff. Git always try to help you with these kind of situations. to just remove the changing that you have already done. Let's see how to do it once you add the file, and therefore add is staged. Git again tells you how to, let's say, resolve the situation if you really want to come back. Staged file. And the file will be again changed without being, let's say, staged. Okay, from this point, you can again use git restore to completely delete this changing. Let's say that we really want it. A shorthand to add and commit this change to the repository is just to use git commit without the add. -a that will add, -a stand for, let's say, git add -u will update the files that are already present in the repository. And then -m for our commit. Let's say shorthand commit. You already add file, commit the let's say new changing, and then we can push. Right? I want to push in this case. No, I don't want to push in this case. I'm going to show you how to use the reset. If I show you git log, you see that the origin is still at the 5th commit while I'm the 6th. Let's say that I'm not happy with this commit. I don't push it, so I want to delete it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use git reset. Git reset, and you have to decide to which commit to reset. You can use this notation to say, I want to come back to that commit. This notation, because it is pointing to this commit, or the notation from head. In particular, head -1. It takes the commit from the head and come back to -1. This is the same as putting this number here instead of head -1, just to let you know. These are, let's say, the names of the commits. By resetting, let's see in which situation we are again. We are come back to the previous commit, but we still have the modification in file to, let's say, not destroy all of what we have done. Okay. So let's push again this modification to just check the other commands revert. So again, I will use git commit -a -m for a shorthand. I will push it. So we will be in this situation. Let's say that now we want again to come back, but we already pushed. How to solve this problem without making a mess with git reset hard that can be quite, let's say, dangerous, even if sometimes it's really needed, especially when somebody's doing a merge and is not doing it properly. I will use git revert head, since I'm reverting this commit. While in reset, I have to specify the commits at which I want to come back. Here, I have to specify the commit or the range of commits that I want to revert. This will create a new commit, as we already see in the slide. Let's leave the standard commit that it creates. And we have a new commit, revert shorthand commit. Therefore, if we push, our situation now is that we have a new commit that is in the same state as this commit here, but we have maintained the history using git revert. So if I check files, I expect just 2 lines. Exactly. Okay. We can also revert to commits. Is the same, of course, example. Instead of using revert head, we'll use this command from head -2 to head. Therefore, in this case, we will revert this and this. Let's try it just to maintain the history with the script that I have. Let's add 2 lines and commit them. Here the third line to file, git commit -a -m. Let's call it third line, and then another commit. And here's the fourth. Again, another fourth line. We have to commit ahead. Let's push them. We will be in sync with the remote repository, and we will try to revert these 2 last commit using arrange head -2 to head. Therefore, we want to revert here and in theory here. Okay. This is the commit that will revert the 4th line comments, the last one that we have done. And we save it. And here another commit to revert the previous commit, 3rd line. Let's see our history. We are above the remote repository of 2 commits, the one that revert this one and the one that revert these ones. This way the history remains linear and easy to be read, let's say. And so we can push. Okay, let's now see branches. Let's create a new branch and let's see how to merge them and handle that. Git branch add new feature. And let's check out to new feature. Oh, of course, new feature is still here and doesn't have a remote counterpart. Let's just create our new feature. This is just our new directory. And let's put inside our directory a couple of files. Of course, Git will ask us to add these new files. And so we're gonna do it git commit -a. No, we cannot use -a because these are new files. So we use git add the directory. Git commit new fit first commit. And now we want to push. How we push? Again, it's a new branch. It is not present on the remote repository. If we just use git push, Git will complain. And we also give you the line to fix this. And therefore we can use git push -u origin add new feature to create the upstream version of our branch remotely. If I use git log, I see that now I have a new commit here that is just ahead of main branch. They still, let's say, share the same history. You can always check which branches do you have with git branch. With -a, we show also all the origin, let's say the remote branches, remember it. Okay. And let's create also another branch that diverges again from master, another new branch. So let's go back to the master, because if I create a new branch from here, we'll diverge from here. We want it, for the example, from the master. Git checkout master, I'm again the master. And let's create and check out that branch with a shorthand. With this option, we create and go to that branch. Improve file. We are there again. And we again add a third line to our file for the 5th time, maybe. We commit and add this modification. Third line, again. And then we are ready to push it. Again, push -u, origin, improve files. What we have created here, we have two different branches. Both of them is diverging from where we remain with the master branch, and therefore we have created a divergent history, okay? Let's handle the remote history from the improve file first. So let's say that we have another commit, a fourth line to our file, let's say. Our file is in this situation, just to remember you. Let's just commit this changing and push. If we look at the history, we will have our improve branch, improve file branch, and the new feature branch, again, splitted from the master. Let's say that we are happy with file. We want to merge with the master. We can go back to the master. And we are able to just merge. And which kind of merge we would expect? A fast forward merge, since the history of this branch is still coherent with the history of the master. Nothing crazy. And Git informs you are doing a fast forward merge. At this point, we are able to push. No commits are added, if you notice, because fast forward doesn't add commits, just move pointers. And so we are in this situation. Master is here with improve, but add feature is remain behind there. Let's say that we also are happy with what we have done with add new feature. So let's also merge with add new feature. What will you expect will happen? We'll have a commit in this time because we're doing a merge commit. The histories are diverging and we have to create a merge commit. Exactly, merge is made automatically by Git since Git doesn't find any conflicts. If Git will find conflicts, will stops you. And I will show you later how to handle it. And our history will be, let's say, in this way. We can push. The history starts to become convoluted as you. Sorry, I don't know what is happening to my terminal. It just died. I will open another terminal. Okay. And we are at this point. Okay, at already 11, I will still have 10 minutes. If somebody of you is still interested, I will just keep going. If somebody cannot, the lesson is registered. So if you need to go, do not worry. I will keep going. You've created this divergent history where improve file branch is remain here before the, let's say, the commits that we have just done for the merge, and any feature is remain here. Again, before the commit that we've done for the merge, but in two different, let's say, branches. You have created this structure. And here you can understand why it's preferable to have a linear history. Remember, you can always check online in your new repo. I have the new stuff. If you go in Insight and Network, network, you will see this graph always in a more nice way with respect of what you see from the terminal. Here is always more understandable. Okay, let's go on. Let's go again in. Here I want to show you how to use rebase. And therefore I have to, again, to create a situation like this. Let's take the improve file branch. And let's rebase it onto the master. As simple as that. It's the more easy way of rebasing. Let's do this. In this way, what we have done. Let's see the plot. Improve file that was here with its origin, it was rebased on the master. It doesn't have any new commits, so its pointer is just again put where the master is. And in this case, it's quite trivial. We can just use git push, of course. To just put improve file here. Let's see how to handle array-based situation that is more difficult. Let's put some modification inside the file, let's say. I don't remember anymore file, how many lines, okay. Echo, let's say just 5. File -m file 5, and then also another commit just because. And git push. We are in this situation. We need the master to be diverging from this one, because in this case, if we rebase, nothing will happen, of course, because this branch is already based on master. Therefore, let's go on the master. Let's add whatever. For example, let's add a new line in the file so that we also see the conflicts. Echo 5 from master. Okay. Sorry, of course I have to add it to the file, and then I will just 5 from master. Git push. Again, we have a divergent history. Here we add 5 and 6. Here we add 5. Let's try to merge using also array base to have a linear history. So we will go back in the other branch. We will use rebase onto the master, and we will have this mess. What's happening? Since we changed the same file, it is complaining because it doesn't know which changes do we want. A conflict is created. Conflict can be made from merges or from rebase, of course, also from pooling, but that's another history. So if I use git status, it will tell me what's happening. Give me a lot of hints, but the point is here. It will tell me that file has been modified. So let's see what is happening to file. Using Vim, not Vimf. Git has added these lines. How do we merge? Git doesn't know. So it asks us how to do it. And it said to you, okay, in your head, in your master, you have this line, while in your, let's say, current branch, you have this other line. Which one do you want to keep? Let's say we like more the 5. So I can delete the line from Git. And I also delete the line from the master. And I'm happy with this file. Now that I have modified file, I can add it. And if I check again status, it will tell me what to do. Use git rebase edit to view and edit. That is a new, let's say, another feature of Git that is just what I've just done with Vim. You can go on with git rebase continue or just do a git commit. It's the same. So let's use git rebase continue, for example. It will create a commit. Just let's 5 from rebase, let's say. And we will have this situation. We have rebased the improve file branch on master. Therefore, the 5th line we have this conflict and we solve it, okay? But we still have, we are still, let's say, a commit above, ahead from the master with the 6. And we are in this bad situation if you do git status. Your branch and origin improved file, its own remote branch, have diverged. What we can do about it? As we saw in the slide, or we decide to merge with the master and delete improved file, or we do a git push force with release. If we want to maintain this branch, we can use this option. Let's say we want to delete it, so that I also show you how to delete branches remotely and locally. I will just check out to the master and ask a merge in improved file. Is fast forward, notice this. If we use this option before, we just would have a merge commit. In this case, we have a fast forward merge. Therefore, now the master is here with the improved file. The old master is in our linear history here. Improved file instead, the origin way, the origin branch is still diverged. Okay, we can just push the master easily. And now we have to handle the other diverging branch. Or we use push with release now, for example, or the other option is to remove it. Let's remove it. Git branch -d for deletion, improve file. This gives an error. Why? Because it feels that you have a divergent history. And so it tells you, wait, are you really sure you won't delete this? Maybe you are doing something nasty. Here, in this case, we are really sure. And so we're gonna use -d. If I use -branch -a, you see that that branch doesn't exist anymore. At this point, to, let's say, inform the remote repository to delete this branch, we can use push on all the branches. In this way, the repository will feel like having to update all the branches, maybe with double minus, and with the option prune to delete all the remote branches that doesn't have a local counterpart. If we use this option, deleted improve file. Improve file doesn't exist anymore. All is changing are already, let's say, inside the commit history of our master. We have 5 from master, then we rebase and we create these new commits because of the conflicts. Therefore, we change 5 from master with 5 from rebase, and then we add 6 that was a feature of improve file. Okay, there were some other examples that I want to show you, but I think I already go 10 minutes above my timings. So I will stop here. The other examples wasn't this important. Let's say it was just other example, for example, a merge conflicts that is basically the same of what we just saw with rebase. The only difference is that instead of rebasing, you are just trying to do for example, a merge commit, and the conflict is here. Also, in that case, you use Vim, you solve your conflict, add files, and commit. You will create a new commit where you have resolve your conflicts. Okay, let's go back a second to the slides. I just want to tell you that after the final slide, there's some extra final slides. This SSH protocol to, let's say, set your SSH key in order to use quick